What is up, guys? Welcome back to SoBackSports, and we're so back with another episode of the SoBackSports podcast. And as you can tell, today I have a very special guest today, Evan from BearlyFantasy. So, Evan, how's it going, man? How are
I'm
you
very
doing?
good, Amrith. How are you today?
Doing all right, doing all right. If you want to take some time to kind of do a little intro for yourself and introduce yourself to the audience here.
Absolutely. So, as I've already been properly introduced, my name is Evan Sather. I founded Barely Fantasy just a couple of years ago. I'm fairly new to the fantasy football game. I've been making content on my YouTube channel since September, Labor Day weekend, technically. And I started Barely Fantasy not knowing exactly what I wanted it to be when it happened. Do I want to just cover the Chicago Bears? Do I want to just be a fantasy football content creator? But it sort of just molded into a little bit of both. But yeah, it's now that I'm kind of moving into the lull between the Super Bowl and March when we start to see the free agent stuff happening. That's where I'm just trying to see where else we can talk Chicago Bears, and I'm happy to be here tonight, Amrith.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on as always. And listen, man, a lot has happened actually in the last couple of last week or so, I want to say, because from talks of like Trey Smith and his deal with his franchise tag or not being franchise tagged, and to even like a potential Khalil Mack reunion as well. So let's kind of go with the first part, of actually before that, let's talk about the coaching staff because it's been officially finalized. And I just want to know what's your thoughts on this as the staff so far and how it's been kind of curated by Ben Johnson.
So where do I even begin? Because it's very overwhelming to see this like all-star cast of coaches being put together. I know that Dennis Allen being put back at defensive coordinator might make people a little worried just because he's been a terrible head coach for the Raiders and Saints. But that's
Mhm.
okay because he's proven that he can be a damn good defensive coordinator where he had two top 10 seasons with the Saints when he was the DC. So I'm pretty happy about that. And we found out today that Ian Cunningham, our assistant GM, is going to be staying with the Bears because the Jaguars did not end up hiring him.
Yeah, that just oh man, that third round pick for this year and next year as well could have been so like imagine having two second round picks and two third round picks. The amount of like stuff we could have done with that is nuts to think about. But unfortunately, Ian didn't get the job. He was just like the runner up. But like that news like genuinely because I guess throughout the whole process, it felt like they were just teasing us, especially that whether he was going to get the job or not. They finally gave him an in-person interview, and then we're like, okay, something's starting to heat up a bit, But then eventually they went with I forgot the person's name, but he's from the Rams. I'm pretty sure it's like the assistant. What was it,
Uh,
assistant?
yeah, James. I forgot his last name already, but James is for his first name, and I think he seemed to be pretty key in scout. I think he was like the head scout, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, like this is just a pretty solid staff. I'm gonna like share. I'm pretty bad with this when it comes to the technology of this StreamYard, but bear with me for a second. But yeah, like the whole like staff itself, we have Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, Declan Doyle, offensive coordinator, Richard Hightower, like this staff is crazy in general. The fact that we got Eric Bieniemy as well from, where was he at UCLA? Like he's
Yeah,
going to be really vital for the run game.
and before that, he was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. And
Mhm.
I know that some players don't particularly like playing for Eric Bieniemy, but the fact that he's our running backs coach is something that I'm pretty happy with because he could very well drop a lot of great running plays, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be a great support for Ben Johnson running the football.
Oh yeah, exactly. And he was also a former running back as well. So that genuinely, helps when it comes to the experience. And I think the one thing I really truly appreciate Ben Johnson when it comes to like establishing the staff is how like meaningful each pick was to the Chicago Bears as a whole because he addressed not only the experience factor but being coaches that coach hard as well. And I think that was a theme last year when it comes to Caleb Williams and Shane Waldron. That dynamic didn't work out because Caleb would continuously ask Shane Waldron to, hey, can I please get some coaching for God's sake? Like, I'm right now having to hire like my own staff to do your job, dude. Like, how did it come to this genuinely? Like, I when I saw that news, I don't know if you saw about like the whole report when it comes to like Caleb essentially not essentially Shane Waldron not willing to like coach him essentially, and him having his own film room studies and stuff like that.
Yeah, Shane just for whatever reason would not watch or go over game film with Caleb Williams, and that's kind of offensive coordinator 101. That's just something you don't skip. And
Exactly.
that just makes me wonder how the hell did he even get hired by the Seahawks in the first place?
Yeah, and like I don't understand like how he was able to. I feel like the QB's coach was like I think the QB's coach for Geno Smith in Seattle was the one that really developed him and really brought him out, if that makes sense. I think Shade Waldron being the offensive coordinator and having the tie with Geno Smith gave us the false impression that, hey, Shane Waldron's tight ends, like 13 personnel, 12 personnel set uh, offense is really solid. Comes to the Bears, and obviously with the holes that we have on like the offensive side and the coach as well, not helping either. Like there's almost so much that he could do, and it's just genuinely frustrating as like a fan of this sport and going through not only Luke Getzey but also Shane Waldron being Luke Getzey 2.0. But it's just I don't know how they finesse these interviews. You know how like if you do like an interview in a, like for a job and you have to like embellish a little bit like to like make yourself look like a really good candidate and make you stand out. I think Shane Waldron took it to another level and somehow landed this job. I have no idea or
I,
like genuine.
I'm thinking it just had to do with his reputation with Sean McVay's staff because he
Mm,
was on the Rams as the tight ends coach and the passing game coordinator as well as the quarterbacks coach between pretty much the end of the 2010s up until 2020. And I guess they just liked his work but down there, but that doesn't mean he knows how to be an offensive coordinator. And now he's the Jaguars passing game coordinator. So if there's any Trevor if there are any Trevor why am I forgetting Trevor's last name?
Lawrence.
If there are any Trevor Lawrence fans listening right now, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Man. But they might like listen. They don't let them fool you because they will say like, "Hey, you hired Press Taylor though. Like, look at what you've done. What does that have anything to do with it?" And I'm here like, well, Press Taylor was on a Super Bowl caliber roster with the Eagles and actually coined the Philly special for Nick Foles as well. So I'd rather take Press Taylor to be our passing game coordinator.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Passing game coordinator, then Shane Waldron. I probably trust him a little bit more. Just a little bit more,
He
And
must have something that Ben Johnson needs in the passing game. So I'm thinking that's a good strategic hire, but we'll have to see once it all unfolds. Because he was the Jaguars offensive coordinator, and yeah, he got pretty much nothing done with that train wreck of an offense. That's
yeah.
always injured, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I mean, like a little bit off topic when it comes to the Jaguars. I think like for Trevor, it was kind of like he got hurt due to like unforeseen circumstances with Al Shair. Um, so like that team as a whole was just very inconsistent in general, and Trevor and Doug Peterson's like what was their scheme was just like very bland at that point. It was kind of like what the same thing the Bears were kind of going through, is very very predictable. But that's the Jaguars problem, and we have Ben Johnson thankfully, so we'll figure that out. But
I just don't want to see another attempt at like a shotgun rollout to the left like we did on goal line against the Colts in week 2, which was so embarrassing as the
speed
whole
option.
offensive line fell down. Thanks, Shane Waldron, for the speed option play out of Galaxy braining a play that made no sense to even attempt in the first place.
Like genuinely, as soon as the ball was snapped and Caleb had to like go to the side a bit, I knew. I just like it's over. It's genuinely over. Like,
It was like night and day compared to week one, where, I mean, our defense still won us that game against the Titans, but I
mhm.
was just hoping that was just cobwebs being shaken out, but nope.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I think like I was on a couple what was it called? What are those things called on Twitter? It's like it's not voices.
Spaces?
Oh, spaces. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Um and one person brought up a point about like how teams like in the off season, right? You have an entire 3 months like with OTAs, walkthroughs, training camp to prepare for one team because by May you will know what team you're playing. Like you're like essentially preparing for the next 3 months for the team that you're playing. But every single time, whether it was Justin Fields against the Packers week 1 in 2023 or 2023, right? Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
And then this year or this past season with the Titans, like I feel like there's no sense of preparation from this staff, and that's genuinely what concerns me or concerned me throughout that entire season. Um, yeah, like he says, like Swift blocking DEs on the goal line is
Yeah, Lou, my man, I knew you were going to bring up something about Swift, and that particular part of Swift, I will 100% agree with you on. Lou's a very good friend of mine, and he has no faith in DeAndre Swift being considered a good running back. Where I disagree. I mean, I think we paid him appropriately for what we were looking to get out of him as being our lead back. Like $8 million a year for just a short term deal. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that, and that just kind of makes me wonder what else we're going to do at running back, because right now we don't really have a strong back room.
yeah, exactly. Like I thought that, but during the offseason when DeAndre Swift was added, it was a little bit of a question mark because that was the first move of the entire free agency. Like the Chicago Bears uh, select or were to take DeAndre Swift, right? So, and the contract wasn't that bad. It's just like the back room when you went from what Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, and then Roshan Johnson to DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson. Forget me wrong. It's like Roshan Johnson's a really good back. I think that he still has a lot to improve, but I think that as like, a head down, run through you kind of back, I think he's really solid. But I feel like both backs under the scheme weren't utilized properly. And
Roshan Johnson barely got any work this year, too. He was only given 55 carries in 14 games. That's a huge drop off compared to last year.
yeah, I just don't get it. Like you see that he's really good when it comes to short yarded situations,
Yeah.
but yet you decide to either run it with Swift down the middle or like I don't know, just like do a pass play for just a 1 yard, It's befuddling at this point. And I guess that kind of leads me to the next point when it comes to, the offensive line, because that's also been a very key factor when it comes to this offseason. And I think in Ben Johnson's mind is going to be the most important factor when it comes to curating his offense. And Trey Smith, a name that's been kind of going around the whole league when it comes to after post Super Bowl, and the Bears are just like, oh, we're going to get him. Like he's definitely coming to Chicago. What are some of your thoughts on Trey Smith? And are there any other options that you think that could be a fit if we don't end up getting him?
So Trey Smith is not necessarily just the perfect fit with the Bears. Like, I know that the New York Giants are going to really want to get him too, because their offensive line makes ours look competent. And I don't really have like strong opinions one way or another for playing guard. But what I'm thinking is that once we get to the second round, I mentioned this on the Irish Bears show last week. By the time we get to picks number 39 and 41, we could end up with somebody like a Marcus Mbo out of Purdue. And he's considered the third best guard in the draft. So if we think he has enough at 6'5" and 305 pounds, I'd be willing to take a shot on him if he's ready as a rookie. But yeah, if we miss out on Trey Smith, yeah, I'll be kind of sad. But I don't really have I would say offensive line is not my forte when it comes to deep knowledge of it. But I just don't think it's going to be the end of the world if we miss out on Trey Smith.
I kind of understand that. I understand where you're coming from. I mean, there's also kind of like options when it comes to that as well. Like you have Mekhi Becton as well, who just recently won a Super Bowl, has, you know, on the Jets was considered a bust, and then went to the Eagles, had some great coaching, and developed into a pretty solid guard. And like while people were like, oh, he has health issues and whatnot, he's been very healthy. Like these last couple seasons, I think he only missed like one game or something like that in the last 3 seasons, which compared to Tevin Jenkins and his percentage of snaps, like it's a bit of an upgrade in that sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that there is options for sure. I mean, we can obviously resign Tevin Jenkins for like a very small contract and include incentives as well. If he hits like a certain amount of targets, like percentage snaps, or like blocks or whatnot. I mean, personally, I don't know. Like, if we're gonna bring back Tevin Jenkins, I think like it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. But
Yeah.
Trey Smith would be, in my opinion, along with Drew Dalman, which is going to our next point. Trey Smith along with Drew Dalman, like, and then in the draft, if you get those two, like in free agency, I think you can go like crazy in the draft with other positions as well, not just offensive line. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts
So,
on that?
so that's what I'm thinking too. Is like if we do very well with signing veterans, unfortunately, it's not going to be Zach Martin because he's planning on retiring after this season at the age
Yeah,
of 34. Otherwise, like what Lou pointed out, like I would be pretty happy with James Daniels at guard. I don't know Patrick McCarry as well from the Ravens. But then otherwise we could. I mean, I was pretty happy too with Ben Bredesen on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's probably not the best one you could go get, but I thought he did a good job with that offensive line. And as long as we don't have to go after Cody Whitehair again, I'm happy because he was a
oh
horrendous
god,
guard. We
oh
drafted him
god,
as a center and moved him to left guard. He was horrible at it. I didn't
yeah.
understand why they kept doing it.
I don't understand either. Like, dude, even hearing, I think like, I swear, hearing the names Cody Whitehair, Lucas Patrick, like, what is it, Sam Mustafer, like all those names just bring me insane flashbacks, and I don't like that. But then again, Lucas Patrick for like a solid 2 weeks under the Saints, like was like the top rated PFF, like center in the league, which kind of like, I don't even know. But then again, I think the next point, speaking of centers, Drew Dahlman, he's been kind of seen as the number one free agent option when it comes to the center position. What are your thoughts on, the Chicago Bears getting him?
I mean, at this point, Amrith, Amrith, I would say that anybody then other than Coleman Shelton would be a great upgrade at center because he was horrible at center this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying because I would prefer to go after youth as opposed to like a 30-something-year-old veteran with maybe 2 or 3 good seasons left in them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking is that there's at least Nick Harris of the Cleveland Browns. He's only 26. There's Tristan Colon Castillo from the Cardinals. I mean, I don't know if I really want anybody off the Cardinals offensive line though.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, there are options for sure. And I think like at this point anything is an upgrade. Um but like I don't know much about the draft when it comes to the center position. So maybe there's an opportunity there. Because I know there are a lot of good pieces when it comes to the offensive line in this draft, like guards, offensive tackles like Gray Zabel and whatnot. Like, but the center position is like, I think what is going to make or break this offensive line. And here's why. Because I think, you know, the coordination between the quarterback and the center is what's going to make or break this offense. Because the amount of times I've seen like fumbled snaps, whether it was with Justin Fields or with Caleb Williams this past season, like the miscommunication that keeps on occurring and the lack of protection when it comes to getting bull rushed through the middle, like that's very important. And I think teams recognize that that's a very easy way to get to the quarterback. And that's what happened to Caleb Williams, where he got sacked about 68 times and almost broke the record for the most sacked quarterback in a season. So I think while guard and tackle are going to be very much like sought after in this draft, it's going to definitely come down to whether we address the center position like in free agency or during in the draft somehow. I don't know exactly who to get, but that's something to consider.
Yeah, and I would say that I mean Dahlman would be a great choice, but the centers that we had at the top two ones we had were technically Coleman Shelton and Doug Kramer, and they are both free agents. Bye bye, please leave. You guys were terrible this season. So I would not mind going to go get a veteran that's a free agent, whether that's Dahlman or if it's somebody else, and then we can wait to draft center in the draft because there's ESPN only has about 7 worthwhile centers in the draft, which means that we don't have to spend a high pick to go get one. But whoever we sign at center, hoping that they could learn behind that veteran.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think long-term solution is not going to be Dahlman. Like we're going to definitely pay him like for the next couple of years because you want to develop that rapport between Caleb and that center. But eventually it has to be like a changing of the guard type of situation when it comes to a young rookie getting mentored by, a very well experienced, like couple of years in the league type center. And I think that's what Ben Johnson is trying to do because not only for the personnel, but he's doing it for himself because he's the first time head coach, right? And his staff has a bunch of people within it, like Dennis Allen, Antoine Randall L, like people that have experience when it comes to. Well, I'm not sure about Randall L because he was a player, but he was on the same staff as Ben Johnson, so they have some, like, like what is it called? They have a connection there.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's funny because I know that Lions fans were very upset about losing Ben Johnson, but they kind of knew that Johnson was looking at head coaching opportunities for the last couple of years anyway. But once Antoine Randall came to join him, that's when they lost their shit. And that's when I started laughing because now that the Lions are the top team in the NFC, now we have to give them extra shit rather than treat them like the little brother that's at the bottom of the NFC North.
yeah, this is what happens when you win, dude. Like your staff gets poached by everything, and even your staff is not safe even for interdivisional rivals. But the one thing I will say that we should stop doing from now on is poaching any of the staff from the Green Bay Packers because it never works out. Even players, because I mean, maybe besides Jonathan Owens, because Jonathan Owens was actually pretty good for us, like surprisingly. And I think the fact that Luke Getsy went back to the Packers is just so poetic in itself. It's just, I just knew that guy was a double agent from the start. I knew it. And then this dude went back, like crawled his way back to Green Bay. And I'm just like, this guy. And
maybe the Packers wanted to get revenge on Tom Brady or something because there must have been a reason he had to go be the Raiders OC and then get fired.
I don't even know. I mean, I guess from that what 2021 like a Super Bowl run or when they got eliminated, like because of Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers or whatnot. Like I remember that game, glorious game to say the least. And anytime the Packers lose in the playoffs, it's just pure cinema. It's just actually cinema. But enough about the Packers. Let's talk about some news that came out today, and that is about Khalil Mack. We've been kind of like hinting even last offseason, when Khalil Mack was like in consideration for, like an extra year or whatnot under the Chargers. And he ended up, taking that one more year to decide. And now he's an unrestricted free agent. And there are some ties to Khalil Mack, being a Chicago Bear again, return of the Mack. What are your thoughts on Khalil Mack? And do you want him back on the Chicago Bears?
If we get the right deal for him financially, then yes, I will gladly take Khalil Mack back. I just don't want to see us sign him for too much money because, first of all, he's above the age of 30. But I mean, I don't like to put 30 as like a death note on players in the NFL because age is just a number. It's all about the talent that comes through. But when Khalil Mack was playing with us during the Nagy era, he was constantly double teamed, constantly held by offensive linemen, and he would hardly ever get a flag. And he had some injury issues too during his time with us. So I felt bad it didn't fully work out with that Raiders trade, but it was so much fun watching him just be a one-man wrecking crew with quarterbacks. And speaking of Khalil Mack, I have the shirt.
Let's go.
Yes,
Dude is
sir.
dude came prepared. I respect that, honestly.
It's an old T-shirt, and I'm glad I didn't get rid of it because now it's actually relevant.
Oh yeah, it's very relevant. I honestly, at the time, I wish I bought a Khalil Mack jersey, but I never did. But honestly, I might if he's back with the team on the team friendly deal. I wouldn't be surprised. And this time around, it's a little bit different for Khalil Mack because he'll have Montez Sweat on the other side as well, and he's you know without injury, he's also a one man wrecking crew. Um, and I think that's the main thing because the main thing that us Bears fans have been clamoring the front office is to get another edge rusher to pair with Montez Sweat. Yannick Ngakoue only did so much for this team, and he got hurt eventually that season. But this season we had Brandon back with Montez Sweat. Javon Dexter came into play as well and had a really solid season. A couple of games he was hurt, but overall pretty solid season. Um, and it just, I think pairing him with like another edge rusher and the fact that he's returning home would be so poetic. And let's say we do end up drafting another edge rusher in the draft. Like, imagine having Montez Sweat and Khalil Mack to be your mentors. Like, that could go a long way when it comes to a rookie's development, especially Austin Booker, who we have. And if we do end up getting an edge rusher.
Definitely. And I think getting an edge rusher is now even more true than ever with the moves that were made today. Do we spend up on Josh Sweat? I mean, for the right deal, I'd say yes. But at the same time, I don't think that would be a make or break situation because there are plenty of excellent edge rushers that are on the board that are projected to go in the first round. And as Bears fans, you might have already seen the news today. DeMarcus Lawrence was released today, which
DeMarcus Walker.
DeMarcus Walker, sorry.
I wish we had DeMarcus Lawrence.
I know, right? That would be great.
I'll be like, wait a second, where was he on this whole time?
Oh, man, yeah, we really could have used him last year with anyway. So now that he's been released, yeah, we should be within the range of like a Michael Williams, a Shamar Stewart, a James Pierce Jr., or even a Nick Scorton out of Texas A&M. There's some really good edge rushers on the board. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to get a dual Carter, but I don't think we're going to get him.
Yeah.
But yeah, plenty of options at number 10. And I think that's where Ryan Poles is going, unless he shows his hand otherwise.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I feel like there's so much opportunity. I feel like, is it me or is the offseason going a little bit fast right now? Because we're like 2 days away from the combine or something like that. And then we're like 17 days away from like legal tampering and then free agency. Like, and then what, like 20 or more days till the draft? Like, dude, like, where was this time? And I have a theory about this, actually. I think compared to last season, because I felt like last offseason was like the longest time it's been, like between the end of the season and like the draft. Two things, actually. One being that we had a QB civil war, and that just prolonged till March. And until a decision was made, it never stopped, and everyone was just mad at each other. And two, we lost to the Green Bay Packers that last game of the season. Whereas the flip side, we don't have a QB controversy this time around, and we beat the Packers the last game of the season. So everyone's in high spirits. We got Ben Johnson. Things are moving a lot smoother than it used to. That's just my theory. I think it's just we're all in good spirits, and that's why it's going by a lot faster.
Yeah, Amherst, I think I'm with you on that one too, because there was a lot of great news that made time feel like it was speeding up, and it wasn't like a long off season where we're not making any moves, and it's like, and we didn't end the season on the low note, like you said. We beat the Packers at Lambeau Field just in time before we lost to the matriarch of our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sad to see Virginia go, but I mean, not that I ever met anybody from that family, but you know, she absolutely loved the fans and absolutely loved the team, and it was just sad. Anyway, so that, in addition to moving the Super Bowl up 1 week in February, is also what kind of contributes to everything going faster.
Oh, wait, it was moved up? Wait.
Well, because of the additional game that was added a few years ago with going to week 17. Oh, week 18,
Oh,
sorry.
okay. I thought it was just for this year. Okay, so it is like it was like normal times. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, time is weird now. I don't know why I forgot about that or did not recognize that it was like moved up a bit. But that's what happens when you're like too invested into football. I guess I don't know. You forget some details.
So, like what Lou was mentioning below, Will Campbell is a popular favorite for the Chicago Bears for drafting an offensive tackle. A lot of people in mock drafts have Will Campbell going to the Bears. And I said this on the Irish Bears show. I would be thrilled if we got Will Campbell as well, because we really need help on that offensive line. And with all the guys that are now free agents, we got to start stacking up some youth.
Oh yeah, like Will Campbell, like in general, I really wanted him. But I just feel like there is a good shot that he's going to get picked up by someone ahead of us. And I don't know, like there were some scenarios I tried when it comes to trading up for Will Campbell, but at the same time, it just is he worth like giving up some picks to like move up? Because I feel like this draft alone, we have to utilize every single pick that we have like to the fullest extent, because not only we have the Carolina Panthers pick in round 2, but we also have our pick in round 2. And we don't have a fourth round pick this year. We have fifth and then I think a sixth and then 2 sevenths maybe.
Yep, that's
I could be
correct.
wrong. Yeah. So like we have to make sure we hit on those like top 4 like round picks, So I think with time, I kind of took a little step back, saying, okay, maybe let's not trade back. But what are your thoughts on that? Would you trade up to get Will Campbell, or what would you do?
I don't see any reason for the Chicago Bears to trade up or trade down in general. Unless Poles has something up his sleeve where he's cooking, I don't see a reason to be giving up any draft position this year, because I like the talent that's surrounding our capital this year, where number 10 overall, we have all kinds of possibilities. We could go edge. We could even reach on Will Campbell. We don't necessarily have to trade down just to get him, because Campbell would still be a hell of a pick for number 10. But then once we get to the second round, we don't even really have to move, because, like I said earlier, Marcus Mbo is in that range. Omarion Hampton is in that range. And we don't have to go corner, or we could even pick up a defensive tackle in that range. And Texas had a good Alfred Collins. Michigan had Kenneth Grant. He's not going to be quite as good as Mason Graham, but I mean, that's still not a bad option to take in the second round.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like there's so much like depth and talent in this draft when it comes to like skill positions. Like you hit you hit it on the right spot. Like this draft, especially when it comes to like looking at the various talent levels, it's I think if you don't need a quarterback, this is your draft essentially. Like and I'm thank God we're in that spot right now, because it would have been tough. It would have been very tough if it happened to be we needed a quarterback. But I think we kind of alluded to this, like you kind of alluded to this early on in the pod about the recent cuts. DeMarcus Walker getting cut, we saved about $5 million in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gerald Everett as well, who was a tight end from the Los Angeles Chargers that we got and he only had like 8 catches like this entire, and like I think there was a stat that said that like the summation of his yards was like -2 yards the entire season or something. I could be very wrong. So and we saved 5.5 million with that as well. So we just from these 2 cuts opened up $10 million in cap space, made us to $70 million in total cap space to spend. And I think that's like top 5 or top 4 in the NFL. So what are your thoughts on these cuts? And do you think we should make some more cuts?
I'm kind of a softy at heart when it comes to any cuts on starters for my Bears. Like I never like to see somebody like Gerald Everett or even DeMarcus Walker go, but I mean it's business, and you have to do the right thing to save on cap space. And Gerald Everett and DeMarcus Walker both save us a little over $5 million a piece. That's huge. Gerald Everett was just another set of hands for both Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. And it just didn't pan out this year, where, yeah, they only got Gerald Everett 8 catches. His best game was in week 5 against the Panthers, where he got 2 catches for 22 yards. Outside of that, like the tight end just disappeared on the Chicago Bears. Like Cole Kmet wasn't even used well.
No, yeah. Like I think I really hope because like a lot of people at this point as well, like I think are starting to kind of get tired of Cole Kmet, which I'm kind of like not understanding why in the first place. Like I get it, his production isn't as great, but there's a lot of underlying factors when it comes to, his production. Obviously, the play calling was terrible. Um, could he have done better when it comes to like some catches? Absolutely. I'm not absolving him from any like blame at all. But I feel like the blame on Cole Kmet versus the blame on the offensive staff outweigh each other, more leading towards the staff having issues. And I think hopefully with Ben Johnson, Cole Kmet could be utilized to his full potential. And you saw that when Cole Kmet was with Justin Fields. Justin Fields, his second favorite target was Cole Kmet. Like him and DJ Moore were like obviously best friends, and like he was only throwing it to DJ Moore. It's like DJ Moore's down there somewhere, like just throw it down there. But Cole Kmet was like his like safety blanket. But with a lot of cooks in the same kitchen, with DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, as your wide receiver room with Cole Kmet, like distributing the yards in certain situations is going to be a little more tougher, especially for a tight end. So I just wanted to kind of ask your opinion as well. Like, what are your thoughts on Cole Kmet? And do you think that he's going to take a next step when it comes to like his production next season?
Knowing how Ben Johnson was using Sam Laporta, this past season was a bit of an anomaly because Laporta was having a lot of his routes taken by other wide receivers in that offense. Jamison Williams being the biggest beneficiary, but being that Ben Johnson has proven that he likes to use the tight end, I think we're going to see a resurgence in Cole Kmet because I just want to go over where he finished in. I mean, fantasy football doesn't necessarily reflect real life, but being that I'm a fantasy football guy, Cole Kmet finished as the tight end 7 and tight end 8 when Justin Fields was throwing him the football between 2022 and 2023. 7 touchdowns in 2022 and 6 touchdowns in 2023. He was, like you were just saying, a perfect safety blanket in the passing game for Justin Fields. And then it was like he just completely disappeared off the team last year. I'm sure a lot of it had to do with doing more blocking or lack thereof, but we really need Cole Kmet. He's got a great set of hands, and people just don't seem to realize it.
Yeah, like the fact, like Lou said, it's the fact that he wasn't utilized properly is a crime and a half. Like jail time at that point because, dude, if you saw like those catches, like especially in that Rams game, if you remember like that one catch, like it was like a seam route. It was just right over the fingertip of the defender. Caleb threw an absolute laser to him, and then Cole Kmet came down with one handed, and it was beautiful. Like Cole Kmet has the athleticism, like there of a wide receiver, but in a tight end's body. But it's just that the amount of times he was just not utilized, like in certain situations, is just crazy. And all of a sudden, like the fourth quarter, in random moments, he'll be utilized. Oh, he exists. No way. That's crazy. um, but I don't know. It's just like I think I think I really hope in the draft we add another tight end. I know it goes against everything I just said right now. Like I just hope we add another tight end so like it will take the pressure off of Cole Kmet if they were to ever use like a two tight end set kind of formation, because with the rookie tight end they'll probably focus on him a little bit more, and then it will leave Cole Kmet to roam around a little bit more. So that kind of like alludes to what I really want to do in the draft as well in the later rounds, but I digress. So I guess we can go into the last point, and we kind of talked about it a little bit when it comes to Ian Cunningham. Uh, we just got news earlier today that he was snubbed from the Jags GM position. But in terms of like Ian's future, do you think that he will get an opportunity like next season if the Bears are very successful this season? Or do you think he's just gonna, wait out his turn and like it's gonna be a while before he eventually gets like a GM position?
I think it's going to be more the latter. To your latter point there, where Ian's already shown that he's going to want to get that promotion with another football team, and even though it didn't happen this year, I mean, I'm sure there'll be somebody else firing their GM next year, and he'll be a candidate for that spot. Um, I mean, I may be ignorant to the assistant GM's role, but uh, being that it's usually the McCaskey family has never traditionally let the GM do their complete job. So for me, it's hard to be able to determine how good of a job a GM and assistant GM are doing when the McCaskey family in the past have always been the family to hire the head coach in spite of what the GM wants.
Right.
And this year, now that Kevin Warren is our team president, things have changed because when we had Ted Phillips, he was just a buddy of the McCaskey family. He was never going to have an opinion one way or another. But
Yeah.
now that Kevin Warren was brought in originally for the new stadium project, it turns out he knows what he's talking about as a president because the fact that Ben Johnson got a $13.75 million contract, I've never seen the McCaskey family pay a head coach. And
Yeah.
now as it pertains to the assistant GM role, maybe it'll be clear on how effective that the team is with Ryan Poles, because maybe it'll be a time to say, hey, it's time to start trusting the staff instead of meddling in the decisions.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like when I saw, like, I still can't believe Ben Johnson's our coach. Like, genuinely, I wake up every morning and I'm just like, wait, Ben Johnson's our coach. Like, life is good. You know, the fact that the McCaskies, like you said, went out, opened their checkbook, wrote a check out, and it's made to Ben Johnson's bank account is crazy to me. Like, genuinely still crazy to me because we've seen them settle multiple times for various mid head coaches, like, or like fifth, sixth options at some points. So it's just crazy and nice that, or like a breath of fresh air necessarily, that they would go for. And going back to Ian Cunningham, like you said, I kind of agree. Like, it is hard to gauge, especially, and with all the losing, it doesn't really help either in Ian's case because you can have very good ideas, but then you see like, oh, then why did you go, like, why was your record like this? And then you'll have to like explain why. But then your name is also tied with the main GM's positions and what they have done as well. So I guess that's probably true. And you're probably right. He's probably going to get an opportunity next year. I mean, there are probably a lot of GMs out there. I can't think of anyone up the top of my head that would probably fire their GM unless it's like the Giants or something like that. I don't know. Like, that's the only one that comes to mind. But yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of we talked about all the topics that we've kind of needed to cover. So let's get straight into the mock draft 2.0. And
Let's do it.
yeah, like, oh yeah, this is the thing. Apologize because I'm pretty bad when it comes to this.
There you go.
There it is. You gotta increase the thing. But all right. So my thought, and I kind of wanted you to kind of give some input as well. I was thinking we do the first 4 rounds because that's the main pick, or should we go through every single round as well? And
do we know what exact picks we're gonna get for the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds?
Hold on. Let me see if I can,
because I thought that was still a mystery at this point.
Let me see all our picks. Bears picks. Because I know for a fact we have like 2 7th-round picks. Okay, so we have a first, 2 seconds, a third, a 5th is to be decided, 6th to be 6th, 7th, and 6th and 2 7ths. I probably messed that up, butchered that up. So in total we have 8 picks in the draft. But yeah, like, I guess we want, if, sorry, I'm like very befuddled. I'm trying to go through all my tabs, but so do you want to do 7 picks and see where we can go from there?
So I think I actually found it. So round 5 is 149th overall. And yeah, so I think I found it. So but yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing just the first 4 rounds. That's fine with me.
Sorry, one second. I messed it up again.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah, there you are. Okay, there it is. I'm not gonna mess up with this anymore. But like, apologies for the technical difficulties. But all right, let's do it then. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we are in the draft room, and we have some trades offers. Like, so we got 2 trades, one from Baltimore and one from Denver.
No and no.
Yeah, I was gonna say no.
Yeah, those were horrible.
All right.
So Yeah, that went by kind of fast. So let's see here. So we have okay. So G&T is still on the board. So I said this on the Irish Bears show. I would not be upset if G&T was taken at number 10.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think, but the thing is, I think the whole thing is that I guess to preface this draft, okay, the kind of like to set the scene is we got Dahlman and we got Trey Smith. We landed both of them, so we have now full range of what we can really do in this draft. So I wouldn't mind Jane T, but then we also have like James Pierce. We can address the edge rushing position.
Yeah.
But like, okay, I think for me it's between him or Ash and Jane T. But what are your thoughts? You would think Jane
Oof.
T?
Yeah, I don't think it would be bad to go in either direction. My hunch is that Poles is gonna if it was down to those two, my hunch is that Poles would go Pierce. But being that GMT is still on the board and he had a hell of a season, I think we got to go GMT here.
Yeah, I mean, runner up to the Heisman. Like, oh, dude, imagine the running back room with like. I mean, it depends on who we get for. I mean, if we keep Roshan, then him and Roshan would be pretty sick. I don't know if that's the case. If we get rid of Swift, but I think let's do it. Let's just do it. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's gonna take a little bit, and we have a little bit of a back to back. So let's see. Pick 39, 204. We had a decent amount of picks, but we already have two.
I don't think we need to give that just for. I don't know what 2026 looks like right now, so I don't see a reason to do it. And I don't think we need to trade down to 44 either.
Yeah, I agree.
There's cornerbacks down in the lower 40s, and we don't need to go down that far.
Yeah. Should we go for offense, defense, or special? Well, special teams is not an option right now. But
okay, so who's best available at this point? So we have Earsery. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we've got Earsery.
Wait,
Stewart.
Should I increase it more? All right, we got.
Okay, that could work. There's a team needs column too. I'm kind of curious what that says.
Yeah,
okay,
offensive guard, edge, pretty much the trenches.
Yes. I don't see. Did we miss out on somebody like a what's
the
his
Titans
face?
took Jackson Dart in the second round.
Interesting.
Wow. I mean, it is the Titans.
I could see the Titans doing that. I'm going to be honest.
Jalen Milroe, back-to-back quarterbacks in the second round. Wow, this draft is crazy.
That's such a Giants move, taking Milroe
in the second round. What is this draft? Dude, and James Pierce went to the Steelers? What?
Why? They don't need Pierce. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
But... They might because TJ Watt keeps getting like double teamed. Kelvin Banks, that's a pretty solid pick to the Seahawks. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Membo to the Dolphins. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there are a decent amount of like Booker went away to the Niners.
That's a shame. Yeah, I'm not. That'd be. That's. I expect him to go first round too. So, okay. So then, what do we have here?
I was thinking, okay, so like there are a bunch of them. Like, what is it? What is this? What is this guy? Buffalo trading up for a safety. Wait, is he a Buffalo Bills fan?
Yes, Lou is a diehard Bills fan, and that would be a legit reaction by Lou if that happened in real life, and I would try to talk him off that ledge if that happened.
Dude, oh my gosh, like. I mean, hey, listen, Lou. As long as you don't give it to the Chiefs, that's all that matters. Like, give that pick to the Chiefs, like for a third time in a row. But, I don't know. Like, I think like, listen, there are a bunch of options. Like, Shamar Stewart isn't a very good option. Jihad Campbell.
It looks like Stewart's the best option here because now we don't need to go Hampton. We could pick edge at this point.
Yeah, I can quite see that. And if we do that. Like, listen, if we take Shamar Stewart and then, like, what is it? The Saints just don't take Gray Zabel. I would take Gray Zabel. Like, Gray Zabel is so good, dude. Like, especially from, like, the Reese's Bowl, the Senior Bowl, like, where he showed out, really, and his time in North Dakota State. Like, he's a pretty solid option for...
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that Shamar Stewart is still on the board in round 2 would be pretty much a crime
Mm.
And I think we have to go Shamar Stewart here because he's like considered the third best edge rusher in this draft.
Oh yeah, exactly. Defensive lineman, 1 point sacks. Oh, there's athleticism as well, and I think like with Dennis Allen, you can easily develop him as well.
Definitely.
Way before that, listen, it worked out. Okay.
Yeah.
That's honestly that's fair. You know what? Fair enough. Stewart's also an outside 4-eye B gap flexibility, not quite two birds with one stone, but hey, that's honestly we need some people that have two birds with one stone type of beat because
We really need the help outside too. Like we can't just keep relying on freaking Montez Sweat to do everything out there too. So if we got to put Stewart on the opposite side of Montez Sweat and we don't get Khalil Mack for some reason, if Stewart starts, hell yeah, that's a good problem to have.
Oh yeah, exactly. I honestly I'll go with you. I'll take Shamar Stewart. Okay, let's see what the they took Donovan I always Izuraku. What is it called?
Yeah, I think it's Izuraku.
Izuraku. Okay.
God, I hope we didn't butcher that.
Yeah, well, Donovan, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But okay, so there are great Zabel still available. Let's see. There's a bunch of them like available too. Stewart has a huge variance opinions on him thanks to his lack of college production. Some have him 10th overall, others have mid-second like this. That's fair. That's fair. We'll see in the combine as well too.
Yeah.
Personally, a big fan of Stewart. Honestly, yeah. I mean, listen, I have to do more research when it comes to him as well because I heard his name get thrown around a lot, and you're convincing me a little bit more to check out his all 22. So, all right. So we got the edge rusher position. We got the running back. Should we go offensive line?
I think we have to go offensive line here based on where we're at.
Right,
now that we don't have to worry about running back, we could certainly look at an Ursery. We could look at Connerly.
Oh yeah, Connerly from Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also Gray Zabel, Embo. I think Embo could probably fall a little bit. I'm not sure how far he would fall, but it would be interesting where he ends up too.
Yeah, I think that's another case similar to Shamar Stewart, where Embo is seen as the third best guard in the draft, or he's just somebody who falls even lower.
Mm-hmm. How are y'all set for defensive tackle?
We're not. We need defensive tackles too.
We do. We definitely do. Let me see what the DT looks like because that kind of does remind me. I do really want some good DTs.
I love me some Gervon Dexter, but we need more help, man.
Yeah, we do. I'll be really honest. I have no idea exactly because all the names that I knew for DT are kind of gone at this point.
Well, I mean, Deion Walker would at least be a decent consolation prize.
Yeah.
6'6", 345. Oh, 6'7", 340. Interesting.
Ooh, 6'7", 340. Ooh, big boy. Holy. Like that's what we need for sure. But okay, that's an option for sure. Deion Walker.
I think he'd be a great consolation prize. And even if he's not the most athletic guy, that's okay, man. I want to go back to the era where you had the big boys rumbling down the field.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But also for like offensive tackle and offensive guard, Donovan Jackson as offensive guard would be pretty sick. Like, I think
he's still on the board.
Yeah, he's on the board. It's crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, wait, what? Like, how is he? Like the fact that like what?
He's considered the best guard.
I don't know. I thought he was. I don't know why he's on the board.
I'd be great with Donovan Jackson.
I think we should take him because
I think so too.
Yeah,
we should take him before the Eagles do because they love their Ohio State guys.
Oh yeah, true. Ohio State and Georgia guys, dude. Like,
yeah,
we need to take him. I mean, look, there's also Georgia too, Ratledge too. But
yeah,
Donovan
I'd rather have Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson, you are Chicago Bear, and it'll take a little bit of while before we get to our next pick.
Yep.
Right now, heck no, we're not trading with you, and we're not trading with you. Absolutely
no.
not.
We don't need to move down.
Okay, let's see who got taken before. So Emory Jones, Mason Taylor, Trayvon. Oh no, Trayvon Henderson. I mean, obviously we can't do that because we got Ashton Genty now, but I like Travion Henderson a lot. Like,
I
Darius.
would be shocked if the Eagles took Travion Henderson because they seem pretty happy with Will Shipley.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I'm kind of surprised that they would do too. But I mean, honestly, like, I mean, Saquon is going to be here for a while. He's not that old yet.
No, he's got a lot of years in him.
Yeah, but it's like the injury does have a concern, I guess. So,
Yeah.
in a say, I guess I don't know, but I mean, let's see. I mean, not really much. Josh Cornelly, unfortunately, got to the Ravens. Ratledge, Marion Hampton to the dude. The Seahawks are like cooking in this draft, high key. Like Quinshon Judkins to the. I don't know why they would go for another running back. I mean,
well, that makes sense for the Bengals because they need some depth behind what's
Chase
his face, Chase Brown. But the
Yeah.
Seahawks going Omarion Hampton makes no fucking sense to me.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't see why you would go another running back when you already have Ken Walker and what's his face? Why am I having a brain fart? Zach Charbonnet.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's that many that like. Let's see what's available now. Like.
So we still have plenty of needs that we have to fill, particularly defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Yeah, you could.
Sorry, my parents are talking, but like, all right. So defensive tackle. It'd be interesting. Let's see. On the contrary, Seattle loves to take RBs in the second round.
That's true.
That's fair. Honestly, very fair.
Alfred Collins, I'd be pretty happy with out of Texas.
Yeah. Let's see what our picks are so far. So we have Ashley Genty, Shamar Stewart, Donovan Jackson. So far, I'm pretty happy with that. Like the fact that we all got all three. Let's see. DT. Alfred Collins, yeah. Darius Alexander. I swear I heard that name here. Oh yeah. Like you said, out of Toledo is another good on top of Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Let's see. Let's take a look at his stats. 6'3", weighs 304 pounds, RAS. I mean, that's will come later. Versatile, explosive, disrupts offensive line, quick first step. Defensive first, showcasing his ability. Yeah, yeah, that's something that I think for Dennis Allen could very well use. They would love to use that. Like that whole defensive scheme would be pretty dope with him.
So Darius Alexander, do we think we can wait on him at this point? Because he's significantly lower than Alfred Collins.
Right. But our next pick is 149.
Okay, yeah, so maybe we can't wait. Maybe we'd have to decide between either Alexander or Collins.
Okay. So another question I want to pose to you. Should we do DT or should we go more of a offensive skill piece?
I don't think we really need to spend any picks right now on offensive skill pieces. I think we can wait on that because, I mean, there's a bunch of free agents we could go get too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that makes sense. Honestly, I'm good with whatever because, like, I think at this point, like, I don't think you can really go wrong with.
Yeah, I think Collins is best available though. I think we have to go him.
Let's see, 6'5", 313 pounds.
35-inch arm length.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow. I guess we'll go with him.
If he's still there, I think we have to.
And from Texas too. They have a very good program too. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Darius Alexander's still there.
Yeah. Still there. How is he still there? How is he still there?
He's still there.
There's no way. What? Do we take him to?
I mean, so if we click on all, like, what's best available overall? Yes, Alexander. Hey, I mean, I'm happy taking him too.
Bust up on the dude. This draft is nuts. If this actually happened, oh my God! Like, yeah, let's take him. Screw it. Why not?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. Bang. And keeps going. We have 2 7th-round picks.
We have that 6 that we
Oh,
have to get
6th round.
through.
6th round. I forgot about that. All right. Ashton Jeanty, Shamar Stewart, Donovan Jackson, Alfred Collins. We addressed our defensive tackles. Great. Bless. Edge rusher. Blessed. Running back. Done. Offensive guard. Done. Should we go more? Let's see what the. Actually, I want to kind of look at the tight ends a little bit real quick.
Okay.
Because I want to see if my boy is available, Mr. Luke Lachey. I'm okay. The only reason why I looked at his tape as well. He's a pretty solid tight end, but he's also from Tight Ends University, and that is Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine we have Cole Kmet and our own what is it? No. George Kittle went to Iowa. Sam Laporta went to Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
If
Noah Fant.
The
Vikings tight end too. What's his name?
Hawkinson?
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson is tight end U guy too.
Ooh. So I'm just saying, Ben Johnson sees his draft board. We're in their 6th round pick. And he sees Luke Lachey right there. When we have addressed our defensive tackles, addressed a little bit of our offensive guard because we got Trey Smith and Drew Dahlman. And with our Donovan Jackson. The interior offensive line has been set. Should we add to the offensive line with a blocking tight end in Luke Lachey and a receiving tight end?
I mean, could Lachey be convinced or turned into a pass catcher?
Yeah, he's also a pass catcher. Based on his tape, he's pretty solid at pass catching.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be a big one, but I mean, hey, if we could get a cheaper option than a Gerald Everett, I'm all for it.
Yeah, offensive weapon, smooth acceleration. Yeah, I 100% agree.
He sounds perfect.
Yeah, contributed tight end 2 and special teams early in his career. Okay, that's an option.
Yeah.
Because we have to obviously look through everything.
Who else is higher overall?
Higher overall for tight end?
For everybody, best available. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at defensive pieces. There's Tyler Cooper if we want to go get another guard.
But we kind of addressed the guard with I forgot his name already. Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, so we got Jackson, but how do we like our other guard though? Because I don't think we're set at right guard or left guard.
Wait, I thought we got. Am I wrong thinking that Trey Smith is a guard? Yeah, Trey Smith's there.
Okay, so this is assuming we get Trey Smith.
Yeah. This whole draft is assuming that we get Trey Smith and Drew Dahlman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about guard then. So we're good.
Okay.
I don't know anything about RJ Harvey.
I have no idea either.
I didn't watch much UCF football, but evidently he may be considered the 7th best running back in the draft. But I don't think we have to go running back again. I think we can let it go.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, let's see. Offensive wise. Yeah, Luke Lachey. That's all the top 4 left right now.
I think he's the best available for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we go tight end here too. When you can never have too many depth pieces in O-line. Very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's not wrong. And what was the other thing he said? Oh wait, that's already already said.
Yeah.
Oh, RJ Harvey is more of an eye space, James White-esque. Ooh, James White-esque type running back.
So in other words, the type of running back that wins you a Super Bowl.
I like the sound of that. I listen, anything with Super Bowl, I'm in. But the fact that we got Ashton Jeanty as well is just making me I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go tight end here as a tight end 2 that helps block.
Yeah, I'm good with that. And then we can probably spend our last 2 picks with offensive linemen. Because not necessarily our offensive linemen. I don't know exactly any examples off the top of my head, but I don't think all the offensive linemen that are good are only within the top 4 in the draft, 4 rounds in the draft. I feel like you can find some gems in the last 2 rounds or specifically. But I think Luke Lachey would help with not only the blocking, but also, the pass catching as well.
I agree. I think we should do it. He's the perfect Gerald Everett replacement.
Yes, sir. Let's go. All right. Wait. I forgot.
I think Trevor Etienne is still on the board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Travis's brother.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Wait,
I don't know if he got drafted at this point.
he's a running back, right?
Yeah, I think he got taken.
Yeah, he got taken.
Who took him?
I wonder. I don't know. Oh,
Oh,
Trevor.
the Raiders.
Of course it was the Raiders, dude.
Yeah. They love their Georgia running back. Zamir White was a bust, so they had to go get another one.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Zamir White, dude. He sold like 1 week. I had to like pick him up in my other league, and he hit a goose egg for me.
Oh,
Like
Zamir White was so overhyped in the 2024 offseason before the season began. I was so out on Zamir White because I knew that Raiders backfield was going to be a disaster. So I'm happy to victory lap about that one.
That's so fair. Honestly. Yeah. Especially when it comes to like this draft, it was kind of like I had no idea who he was, which kind of crazy because I thought it was like a person that they picked up like in the later rounds, but no, I guess not. It was very hyped for sure. All right, so
Who's left?
all right, these are all our picks so far. We addressed running back, edge rusher, offensive guard, 2 defensive tackles, and a tight end. So we can pretty much go do whatever we want at this point. Kind of, we kind of addressed everything.
I agree. Can't believe how well that worked out.
It really did. I mean, we can obviously go for like another, like a center, or someone in like an offensive tackle. Maybe I don't know how good they are.
I think we're okay at tackle with Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. I mean, Braxton Jones isn't great, but he's good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we could go center if we really want. It would probably be... Well, actually, it's not that bad of a reach.
Getting O-line really depends on coaching as much. That is true. And the thing is, we have a really solid coach when it comes to developing an offensive line. So I'm not too worried about that. And I think, I heard the name Gus Hartwig a lot. I mean, I think the name just keeps popping up when it comes to like picking a center usually at this point. So honestly, I wouldn't mind having him as a center. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I he's best available, and I'd love to read his bio that is on him. Coming soon. Well, shit.
Crap. Well, so much for that. I guess, I mean, listen, we can go based off the height. 6'5", 312 lb. I guess you could just take a chance on him. And remember, we have Karan Amagaji as well. Like, not as a center, but I'm saying like as a depth piece, like that can be developed as well. So
true.
You never know. Let's see if there's any wide receivers, maybe. Not a fan. Oh, Zachary Franklin, Illinois, ILL baby. Let's go. I don't know. What do you think? Should we go wide receivers? Like check out.
I don't really think we need to, just based off of how. I mean, it's not a weak class per se, but it's just something that I don't really think we need to spend any capital on because there's going to be plenty of free agents we could go get. Because we got Romo Dunze and we've got DJ Moore. We don't really need to spend more capital on them. We could just get the free agents.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
But I would not mind drafting a center at this point. It wouldn't be a bad reach.
All right, let's do Gus Hartwig then.
Yeah, let's do Hartwig.
And to finish off our last pick already.
Yeah.
Should we back to back?
I wouldn't mind grabbing, let's see. Who else do we have at offensive tackle?
Should we get a linebacker maybe? Or
can never have too many linebackers.
Or corner. Ooh.
Well, we're good at corner though. We don't have to do that.
That's true.
Safety we're okay at. We don't have
Shiloh Sanders.
Oh my gosh.
do we get a Sander?
Ooh, where's he ranked?
Let's see. Honestly, I have no idea. Versatile safety known for his physicality and football intelligence. Dude, we can get him from Colorado, dude.
Yeah, I think we have to go Shiloh Sanders for the last pick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Nice.
And we are... Hold on, let me zoom out a bit so that we can see it properly. We are done. Our draft results. Give yourself a round of applause because, dude, we cooked when it comes... And thankfully, everyone else around us cooked for us. So, genuinely, couldn't have asked for a better draft. And
Lou, we are going to develop Shiloh Sanders. I don't care what you say.
But that's why he's a 7th round pick.
Yeah, we could take a chance on him. And if we just cut him at training camp if we have to.
Exactly. Like, just for the Sanders name, just for fun, just for some silly times, So Ashton Genty, we picked the 10th pick, and I think a lot of Bears fans in general will be really happy with that, that pick. Because Ashton Genty, say what you want about him, like he's one of the best running backs I've seen in a while. And, if you see him there and we have just the offensive line, I'd be stupid not to take him at that point. So, you know, then we have Shamar Stewart, really solid edge rusher. I mean, honestly, to pair with Montez Sweat wouldn't be would be. Well, I can't even speak. It's too much talking for me. But, he'll be really good. Donovan Jackson, Alfred Collins, Darius Alexander, Luke. The fact that we got Luke Lachey along with all these people are making me so happy right now. Like, if this were to actually happen, I'll lose my mind genuinely. And then the last two picks with Gus Hartwig and Shiloh Sanders. But swap Stewart and JT's names, and as far as when we have drafted, and that's a stupidly good draft. Even if you don't like Genty at 10, I can't hate the full draft of full. Good work. Hey, thank you, Lou. You honestly helped us as well. If anything, you were part of the pod and, gave us the insight that we need, So I appreciate you for tuning in as well and helping us out.
Yeah, not only did we cook, but we seasoned it and we served it up. And I think that's going to be one hell of a preseason to show off what these guys can do.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm excited. Like that just every like mock draft I do, I think the more excited I get. And the draft is in like a month or so. So, gonna keep cooking these mock drafts, but that's gonna we went over about an hour and like 10 minutes or so we had a lot to talk about. And as always, appreciate you for joining the podcast, taking time out of your day. Genuinely appreciate you for that. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, Amrit. I'm really, really happy to have met you through this, and this is a lot of fun. It went by fast.
Oh yeah, like we had a lot to talk about and like a lot of great things to say as well. So appreciate you again. I know it's like pretty late as well too. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thank you guys again for those of you who have tuned in. Thank you, Lou Brunson, for being our special feature, unexpected feature, but always appreciated in the comments for the streams as well.
So I am on Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube as BearlyFantasy, and you can also catch me on Instagram. I'm gonna be winding down my TikTok account pretty soon, but YouTube and Instagram are where I post my fantasy football content as well as other football related stuff. And otherwise, follow me on Blue Sky and hit me up.
Yes, sir. His YouTube channel is in the description as well. So please subscribe to Barely Fantasy. He's really good when it comes to his content. And as you tell, he knows ball. And as always, guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you guys in the next one.